Museum of Art opened, and you guys have what you've done here though too with the Smith Performing Arts Center, all those things that are happening, that's going to create a lot of synergy in your downtown. I mean, this building, I mean, it really helps a local community and downtown redevelopment efforts. I really think that's an important component. So there were several different things that came into play. And now there's huge corporate sponsors for an event that the city put a lot of funding towards. Now we've got a lot of corporate sponsors and national corporate sponsors for that month-long event.
As the Lieutenant Governor, can you shepherd some of those projects or bring in new good jobs related to arts and culture, or can you quantify it in terms of commerce that it brings?
Absolutely.
I'm just kind of curious because I know part of the job is to create new jobs and to encourage businesses to relocate here so we can diversify the economy. And I know that you'd be stuck with, you know, your one voice of many, but I've heard a number of large, good businesses have refused to move here. People say, well, we have this great low tax base, but they've come in and they've said, but you've got a crappy education system, and our employees are way too valuable to subject them to substandard schooling, so we're going to take a pass. Can you address that, or I don't want to?
Yeah, let me talk about education for a moment, because if you read any economic development report, the #1 deterrent in the state of Nevada is education. And believe it or not, just a few years ago, it was the cost of housing too. So we need to market the positives in the state to get businesses to come here, because obviously now you can purchase a house for a very good price. So we need to use those advantages and really create our own synergy, because every single day in the paper you're reading all the negatives. I mean, the state of Nevada, although I'm from Reno, I know a lot of Southern Nevadans. Even before I ran for office, we are a really close-knit state, and one of the advantages that we have that companies look for is the accessibility to local elected officials, your mayor, your governor, well, the new governor. And that's really important when a company comes into town, because I'll tell you what, we have a lot of geothermal up north right now, companies coming in. We just had Vulcan relocate from Bend, Oregon to our city, and what they do is they want to sit down, and they're amazed. The president of Siemens came in, and we all met with him. He goes, I can't believe that you can get the mayor and the council members here and your local representatives. Now keep in mind, the lieutenant governor has been completely invisible. He hasn't been at the table. That's his job. But that's very important. But to get back to your question about education, right now is kind of an oxymoron, because there's a lot of initiatives, business initiatives through the NRS that are allowed. One of them's called, and here I'm starting to get technical, so if I'm putting you guys to sleep, let me know. But STAR bonds, which is sales tax anticipated revenue bonds. And they haven't been used in Southern Nevada yet. A lot of them have been used in Northern Nevada. But essentially what it does is that it takes money away from the state, the local governments, and education. We need to fix that loophole next session and make sure that there's no more diversions of educational funding. Because I'm sorry, when you're giving away business incentives to the 98th richest man in the United States and taking away from education, that's just wrong. And that's really defeating the purpose of bringing new jobs to our state. So that's got to be corrected. And trust me, that cumulative impact is huge in the state. All those abatements and people who don't have to pay, that hurts education. So we want a world-class educational system, we've got to have it. And that's one of the ways that we need to fix that loophole in order to make it happen. And just the focus, it's really getting down to, I do believe in more local autonomy, especially being a local elected official, because I think that, no offense, Senator Parks, but the issue of home rule has been brought up for ages, and I think there's got to be some compromise with that. So you allow local governments, because we're the closest to the people, you're meeting on a weekly, bi-weekly basis, you're providing public safety services, parks, all of those things, where the legislature meets, every other year. So it's difficult to get something changed. So I think you're going to see some changes happening in the legislative session for the good, I hope. And I hope that I'll have that voice and bring that local mix, because I think that's absolutely essential. Because let's face it, most economic development projects come to the local level. They're coming to the city of Las Vegas, Henderson, North Las Vegas, Reno, Sparks, wherever it may be. They're coming to the local government to build that project. So that is where there's been a complete disconnect, is with the state and local government, and the lieutenant governor has been absolutely nowhere around. So MIA, I like that. It's time to can him.
What do you think's the least expensive, quickest way to get tourists back?
Well, there are several different ways. Number one, you got to capitalize on convention business. Don't ignore the small special events, because incrementally, the small special events, the local special events, the locals still spend money for an event that they like, okay? Regardless of where it is in the state. So we've got to bring in, and also we've got to provide that seed money, so to speak, and partner with the private sector to bring more special events into our community, number one. But also leverage those dollars in marketing the state, because right now there's a disconnect. And I have to say, the LVCVA does a very good job marketing Las Vegas. I think they've done a tremendous job with their marketing campaign and what they've been able to do. I just think that at the local level, you could market some of the smaller things that are going around in town that create some synergy, get your locals back into the core, but also bring more people into your region.
Tourism and the casinos and gambling has been the cash crop of Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have anything else but dirt to offer here, basically.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
We don't have anything but dirt to offer. We have no agricultural stuff. We have really nothing else in this state but tourism, some mining and whatever. But what we've got going on right now is we are a central hub. We've got the 15 freeway, we've got the 95, we've got connections. We are the hub of the West right now. Are you going to be pushing this to other industries that we are there? We've got McCarran for shipping and air transportation. We've got a ton of places right now that Las Vegas is for sale with warehouse space available. Is there some sort of incentive we can give to these people to say, come build your plants here? We've got the place, it's available. You haven't really got to build, you just got to occupy. Can we give them incentives to bring them into here from out of state with regard to some of these companies with the solar power? I know there's a lot of places right now that are really developing some great solar panels. We can bring them right into the Las Vegas area. That would help the unemployment problem quite a bit. And sell that to other states.
Let me tell you a couple things. I think what needs to happen, there needs to be an incentive to fill up the vacant buildings. That could be done legislatively. Right now, we don't have that tool at the local level. That's something I would push for on an economic development level, because you look at all the industrial space right now that's vacant, prime for manufacturing, right?
Las Vegas is for sale right now. Come buy, we're cheap.
Come here, come locate here. One of the things when meeting with different manufacturers of solar panels, for example,